Welcome to the 5th annual UAMC L&D Healing Hands Remembrance Service. We gather today to honor the memory of those little angels that have left us far too soon. Bienvenidos al quinto servicio memorial anual de UAMC L&D Manos Sanadoras. Nos hemos reunido este día para recordar y honrar a aquellos angelitos que nos han dejado muy pronto. I would like to read you a poem by Heather Green titled If Only. Quisiera empezar leyéndoles una poema de Heather Green titulada Si Solamente. If only, the question that we face in our time of sorrow, so much life now gone with no time to borrow. If only, the hollow words replay throughout our every thought. No child should pass and leave us in this hell where we're now caught. If only, the wretched emptiness could just be filled, and we could once again begin the life we started to build. If only, we could move on from the brutal pain, for caught in this darkness, we are no longer sane. If only, two little words, with such deep meaning now. Our children have passed and left us questioning how. If only, such pain and sorrow did not exist, and we did not have to deal with the tears we now resist. If only, there was a way to go back and change the past, for now we bear this burden of a child lost mask. If only the world knew what we deal with every day, or there were words enough to make it all okay. If only we knew how to move on with a simple, real smile, without the fear that tragedy will strike again at any given mile. If only the words that echo in our hearts now, every single day, as we pull ourselves together and we try to find our way. If only we didn't have to carry this heavy feeling of loneliness and sudden tears, and had the strength to live each day without the constant worry and the fears. If only. like to introduce Crystal Basica. She is our parent speaker today. She's Layla's mommy, and she will be passing here.
Hi guys, my name is Crystal Basica, and I lost a daughter 2 years ago, August 31st, 2011. At UAMC. I thought I wasn't gonna cry. Okay, so I went for my 20-week ultrasound for them to tell me if it was a boy or a girl. They told me it's a girl, but there's something wrong with her. I was seeing a doctor at another clinic, another hospital, Northwest. I was like, no, this can't be. I'm gonna go to UMC, go to my doctor, and he can fix it. He can make it okay, or tell me what's wrong with my baby. So next week I went back to my doctor. My doctor is Dr. Machula, and we'll figure this out. We did an ultrasound. My daughter had high drops. He told me then she probably wouldn't make it, but we could do everything possible to try to save her. So for the next 4 or 5 weeks I had procedures to drain her. I had 2 shunt surgeries. He told me she was going to be okay. All her fluid drained from her chest. She looked good. She had a strong heartbeat. I went back the next week for an ultrasound. No makeup, hair thrown up all ugly, green toenails. I had my ultrasound and my baby had no heartbeat. So he told me, you can go home or you can stay. You have to be induced. I didn't know what to do. I stayed because if I left, I wasn't going to go back. I had to, but I wouldn't. So I called my family came. I got induced. My day shift nurse, I wasn't familiar with her. I had worked at UMC before, so I knew a lot of the girls. My day shift nurse, I didn't know, but she, helped me the best I could starting my induction process. And then at 7 p.m., an angel walked into my room. Jennifer was my nurse. We laughed about my green toenails, and Maida was my tag. They tried to fix my hair. We tried to fix my makeup. There's gonna be pictures, and I want pictures of my angel, and I can't look like this. And all night long, watched movies as I was induced, ate pizza. Eloisa, tech there also, she's my friend. Delia is a nurse there, is my friend. She called in sick to come be in my room to be with me. It's the worst time on earth, to lose a child, and I have 3 other children that lost their sister. But with the right people there and the right nurses, Jen cried with me. It's not a stranger. It's not just somebody doing their job and checking your vital signs. It's someone there to help you through the worst day of your life and make it, the best that they can make it. And then that morning, of course, I worked there knowing that shift gets over at 7. When do I deliver my baby? 6:46 in the morning. Jen wants to go home. She stayed. Maida stayed to do the handprints and the footprints, the molds of my baby girl. And then another angel, I also didn't know her, but came into my room about 7:38 that morning, Tracy. Where she went, Tracy, over there is my day shift nurse, and I held my baby a few hours, and then they took her, and then so I was 25 weeks with her. My baby wasn't a baby like what people picture a baby, a newborn baby, something excited to see. I have 180 pictures of my baby that I like to share. It's hard for me when I'm trying to show somebody, look at my baby, and they're scared to look at her pictures, or scared, but I'm doing what I can as my job to share my story, help other moms, let them know it's gonna be okay. The last 2 years I was here at this service, the first year was 6 weeks after I delivered my baby. I couldn't talk, I couldn't move, I just cried the whole time. Last year they asked me to be the parent speaker. This year I've known for a whole year. Do you think I wrote anything down? No. I'll just speak from my heart about how I feel. I couldn't have made it through the last 2 years without these girls. This year on Layla's birthday, August 31st, was the sew-a-thon for the Healing Hands, where we painted these pots. The ugliest pots are the ones that I painted. So I just wanted to speak to the other moms out there. Like, your first, few weeks, your first years, the hardest. You think you're not gonna make it, but God puts people in your life that help you through it. Each nurse, Jen, Tracy, later on that day when I had my daughter, my kids were at school, and I think they had been told, and I'm not sure if they told them that they had passed away or not, and they were coming to the hospital from Rio Rico. I live in Rio Rico. My mom calls, the kids are coming to the hospital and they want to see the baby. I'm like, no, she's small, and it was a little scary to see, and even when she was born, I didn't want to see. My mom wanted to hold her, and I'm like, face the wall and go over there till I'm ready to see her. Hold her, don't show me. And then Maida, the OB tech, put a beautiful dress on her. I held her, we played with her feet. So when I was told my children were coming to the hospital and they want to see the baby, and I said no, but it's not something to be scared of, and it's something that your other children need to see, and they need to understand, they need to process. She was a baby, she was their little sister. When I got off the phone, I freaked out, put on my nurse call light. I need my nurse. My kids are Tracy came in, my kids are on the way to the hospital, and I don't know what to do. They want to see the baby, and I don't want them to see the baby. They had a child life specialist come and read books to the kids about death, and they gave them teddy bears. They explained to my children that the little teddy bears they gave them, their baby sister was smaller than that. She was 9 ounces and 11 inches long. She was teeny tiny. Once my kids processed that, they came into the room and they held her and they got to say their goodbyes and drew her pictures and said, goodbye baby sister. And we've been strong, but there's no way that I couldn't have made it through that day, those 24 hours without the nurses at UMC. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Crystal. Our next speaker is our physician speaker, Dr. Celia Valenzuela. She's also an assistant professor and attending physician at UAMC.
Good afternoon. A few months ago, Tracy came and asked me if I would speak, and I'm already crying. And I was honored and said, yes, of course, I would be happy to. And then a few days went by and I started to think about what I was going to say, and I knew I was going to cry. And I thought, what did I get myself into? And I almost called you, Tracy, and said, maybe you better find somebody else. My story is different than yours, but it is a sad one. And I know that I'm going to cry sharing it. But I do want to share it with you guys because it really helps you to see how it has changed my perception of life and how I approach patients. So I love my job. My favorite thing about my job is the powerful human connections that I establish with my patients and with the people that I work with. If you had asked me 3.5 years ago, what's your favorite part of your job, I would have said surgery, because I love to operate. It is an amazing thing to do. But when I share my story with you, I think it'll make sense why the favorite thing of what I do changed. So my job is not perfect. There are some very difficult things that I do, some very sad moments. It is difficult for me to share bad news with patients. The most difficult news it is to share is to tell a woman and her partner and their family that their unborn child is not alive, or that there is something seriously wrong with your pregnancy, that it will not continue. That's devastating things to say to somebody. Another example of something hard is when I tell a woman that she has cancer. But when I tell a woman that she has cancer, in her mind, she probably already has in her head that something's wrong. We did a biopsy, we did tests, and I've explained to them why we're doing this test. And so in their mind, they've already had that preconceived notion that they could be getting bad news. When a woman comes in and we tell her that something's wrong with her pregnancy, they're completely blindsided, as often we are. And I think that that's really what makes it difficult. I take a woman from one of her most enjoyable, most joyous moments in her life, and with 4 little words, there is no heartbeat, I change that. and they bring their lives to a screeching halt. So that is one of the most difficult things it is for me to say. So my difficult story is that I have a little girl that was diagnosed with cancer. When she was 18 months old, I took her to her pediatrician. And her pediatrician felt a mass in her belly. And I knew right away that it was cancer because a tumor in a little kid is cancer until proven otherwise. And it was Wednesday afternoon before Thanksgiving, so it was going to be 4 days before we could even get any imaging done. So 4 very long days later, she got an ultrasound, and the ultrasound confirmed that there was a mass in her belly. And it was huge. It was 10 centimeters. Any labor and delivery nurse or any OBGYN can tell you 10 centimeters is that big. So 10 centimeters in an 18-month-old, it was big. And from that point, the news just got worse and worse. So the next day, we were admitted for her to get some more imaging studies and hopefully surgery. And so she got a CT scan, and while we were waiting for the surgeon to come talk to us, the oncologist came in and said, "The images are up, but the report hasn't been written yet. Do you want to see the images?" And I said, "Of course." So she brought in a computer, and I looked at the images, and very calmly I said to my husband and to my family that was in the room, "It's inoperable." The tumor had wrapped itself around her aorta and vena cava, and so she couldn't have surgery to remove it. The next day she went to the OR, and she had a portacath placed in her chest, and they took a biopsy of the tumor. And that biopsy came back a couple of days later that said it was neuroblastoma. Well, I have never read so much in my life. Even becoming a physician, I'd never had such meaning to read something. And I read everything about neuroblastoma. Neuroblastoma is a unique cancer because on one extreme, it's the only cancer that can resolve on its own without treatment. That usually happens in infants. On the other extreme, it's a high-risk cancer, meaning that it has a high risk of recurrence, and when patients have a recurrence, they almost always die. And they have a 20% survival rate if they have high-risk cancer. And then there's the larger group in the middle, which is intermediate. And I thought, well, that's what it is. It's going to be intermediate. I just know. About a week and a half later, we met with the oncologist again, and she said it's high risk. I immediately thought, my daughter's going to die. And it's going to be an ugly, miserable death. She's still alive. And she went through a year of treatment. And it was difficult. It was a hard year to go through. She had 5 rounds of chemo. She had a huge surgery that we flew out to Philadelphia for. She had a bone marrow transplant. She had radiation. And then she had another study drug that she participated in. In that dark year, though, we had some amazing, amazing experiences. Truly remarkable acts of kindness. Truly beautiful experiences. Throughout our experience, there was a poem that I kept going back to that I'd like to share with you guys today. It's called The Tapestry. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. And so it goes like this. My life is but a weaving between my God and me. I cannot choose the colors. He weaveth steadily. Oft time he weaveth sorrow, and I in foolish pride forget he sees the upper, and I the underside. Not till the loom is silent, and the shuttle cease to fly, will God unroll the canvas and reveal the reason why. The dark threads are as needful in the weaver's skillful hand as the threads of gold and silver in the patterns he has planned. He knows, he loves, he cares. Nothing this truth can dim. He gives the very best to those who leave the choice to him. That year very much reminded me of that poem because it was dark, but there were also strands of gold and silver. That experience has changed my life because now I know when I tell a patient that there is not a heartbeat or something's wrong with your pregnancy, I know that I'm throwing them into darkness, but I also know that there will be strands of gold. The nurses that will take care of you are the beautiful experiences that you will have. Complete strangers have taken time to put together owl boxes for you to help you to remember something good about the pregnancy that you had, about your child. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. So many things to think about. I'd like to have Jimmy and Sherry Wakefield come up to present the 2013 James and Andrew Wakefield Memorial Award.
I just want to thank the girls for making it so that me and my husband can remember our boys fondly. And it makes my heart smile to know that every year they vote for someone who goes over and beyond to take care of somebody like us. And I'm humbled that they let my boys' names be attached to that award. Because the award's so pretty. I didn't get to prepare a whole lot because after losing our boys and going through that first year, we decided we would try to foster. So far we've had 4 foster kids. We fostered because we want to honor our boys. They make us tired. So I figured, for as exhausting as they would have made me, that we're doing something, at least in honor of them. The days are going to be hard, but as time goes by, it gets a little bit easier. And we can't thank the girls. There's no words. Because we're not bitter. And we try to be better people. Because of Jimmy and Andy. So, thank you guys for everything that you've done for us. Thank you for this pretty award. So we'll do this.